Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Planned Parenthood in hot water. Now we know what they did during the election. A political arm of Planned Parenthood is in trouble for what they hid during the election. It raises other questions about this nefarious organization. Everyone needs to know about this. Millions of Americans detest Planned Parenthood. Yet the group still thrives like a cancer in our society. This organization specializes in the deaths of unborn children. They claim to provide health care to low-income women. That's true if you define health care as millions of abortions. The act of abortion is considered an outdated and barbaric practice by many in the United States. Somehow, though, Planned Parenthood continues their work. Perhaps it's because Congress refuses to defund the evil organization. Every year, they get huge checks from the government, checks that further the destruction of human life. We know why, of course. Planned Parenthood conducts a mafia-like scheme between themselves and the Democrats. They funnel millions of dollars into candidates' campaigns. Once elected, these liberals happily funnel hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars into Planned Parenthood's coffers. They keep this scheme going year after year, draining money from the American people, all to keep both parties happy and well-funded. It looks like one Planned Parenthood group took a misstep, though. During the 2016 elections, the Wisconsin branch dumped over $100,000 into liberal campaigns. The only problem? They didn't disclose it to the FEC. Oops. Planned Parenthood's political arm in Wisconsin has been fined for failing to appropriately report nearly $120,000 in independent expenditures allocated in support of Democratic candidates Hillary Clinton and Russ Feingold during 2016 elections. The Federal Election Commission, FEC, found discrepancies in Planned Parenthood advocates of Wisconsin's October 2016 report that claim over $133,000 worth of expenditures on political candidates, FEC report said. Nearly $120,000 spent in August on Clinton and Democrat Feingold, who tried but failed to unseat Republican Senator Ron Johnson in 2016, were never shown in any previous 48-hour filing up until the October report, 2 months later when it was required. The Planned Parenthood group reportedly spent $58,449.04 in support for Clinton and as much in support of Feingold. Source: Fox News. Why didn't the Wisconsin PP disclose this amount? We know, nationwide, Planned Parenthood shelled out millions to help Hillary Clinton. They used the millions of dollars they got from the government. That's your tax dollars being spent to get a crook elected. We shouldn't be too surprised who they were spending the money on. Hillary Clinton and her cronies love Planned Parenthood. They are proud of a woman's right to choose, that choice being to abort their unborn child. Clinton would have promised to protect Planned Parenthood had she been elected. In fact, she would probably have increased the amount of cash they get every year. Other Democrats are known for their open support of the group. Democrats proudly declare they defend a woman's right to kill their unborn child. Imagine being that disturbed, that you're proud of killing your child, but that is the DNC today. The office is claiming it was all a misunderstanding. Their staff, which should have been trained, didn't know to file the contributions earlier. Sure. Or maybe this group is used to keeping things from the government and the American people, like the fact that it routinely sells aborted baby parts to labs, even though it's against the law. Or the fact that they claim to provide comprehensive health care to women in need. But when women go to Planned Parenthood for help, they are only offered abortions. Even basic procedures are only offered, if in the pursuit of getting an abortion. The real crime is that this massive group is getting slapped on the wrist for this mistake. The group will have to pay a $5,850 fine for the wrongdoing, the Washington Free Beacon reported. Source: Fox News. Really? That's nothing for a group that gets hundreds of millions of dollars from the government. This group should be under investigation for its horrendous practices and deceptive tactics. It should be defunded and kicked to the curb. Instead, it gets millions of dollars from the government and is hardly held accountable when they break the law. The only way Planned Parenthood would be brought to justice is if we elected people who refuse to support it. Breaking massive details about female YouTube shooter just released that media tried to hide. Never let a good tragedy go to waste, that's the media's motto as first coined by Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of the most deadly city in America, Chicago. They have proven it time after time, and in the case of today's shooting at YouTube, there was no exception to their golden rule. Like most everyone I know, today we were all glued to our TVs, radios, and smartphones when we heard about the active shooter situation at the YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California, not far from the epicenter of liberal Silicon Valley. But what was even more surprising, or not, is how the media was refusing to give out any information they already had confirmed and what the people who were at the shooting saw. That the shooter was a woman and most said she was wearing some kind of headscarf. The media wanted to keep this quiet, and even the local police. Since San Bruno is about as liberal a city as they come. They didn't want to report the truth because historically mass shooters have always been men and usually white men. The media was ready to start with the bashing. But in this case, there wasn't even any talk about gun control or as to how this woman got the gun in the first place, especially since this shooting was in gun-controlled California where the background check to get a gun includes from what hospital you were born at to what you had for breakfast that morning. More information on the shooting via NBC. American mass shootings tend to follow a grim pattern. A man opens fire on a school or workplace, claiming lives and sowing chaos. But the shooting at YouTube headquarters in California on Tuesday afternoon appeared different in at least one respect. The suspected shooter was a woman. The suspect, who was in her 30s, opened fire on an outdoor dining area at lunchtime, motivated by what authorities believe was a domestic dispute, multiple senior law enforcement officials told NBC News. She died of a gunshot wound. It's uncommon for a mass shooter to be female. There were only 3 cases in the past 3 decades, according to a database compiled by Mother Jones. And research conducted by the New York Police Department found that only 8 of 230 active shooter cases in the United States from 1966 to 2012 involved female attackers. And in the border category of mass killings, including other methods of execution, such as arson, only 6% of perpetrators are women, according to a database compiled by USA Today. It's definitely very rare to see a female shooter, said Sherry Hamby, research professor of psychology at the University of the South in Sewanee, Tennessee. The more extreme the violence, the more likely the perpetrator is to be male. Hamby said research has pointed to a variety of reasons men are more likely to be violent, including a sense of entitlement. When women are violent, there tends to be a connection to a domestic dispute, Hamby said. Mother Jones used a strict set of criteria for their mass shooting database. They looked at incidents in which at least 4 people, not including the shooter, were killed, and that took place in a public place, not a private residence, usually in a single location. Out of 73 incidents that met that criteria, just 3 public mass shootings since 1982, including the San Bernardino attack in 2015, involved a female killer. As of Tuesday afternoon, authorities have not confirmed any deaths in the YouTube shooting, so the suspect would not meet the Mother Jones database's criteria for a mass shooter. Here's a few notable examples of previous female mass shooters. San Bernardino shooting. Tashfeen Malik, 27, and her husband, Syed Rizwan Farouk, 28, unleashed a hail of bullets on a conference room at the Inland Regional Center, a state-run facility for people with development disabilities, on December 2, 2015, killing 14 people. The pair were slain about 4 hours later in a shootout with police. Alturas tribal shooting. Shariel Ash Rhodes, 44, former chairwoman of the Cedarville Rancheria tribe, opened fire at the Cedarville Rancheria Tribal Office and Community Center in Alturas, Californian on February 20, 2014. Among those killed were her brother, her niece, and her nephew. When she ran out of ammunition, she grabbed a butcher knife and stabbed another person. All told, she killed 4 people and wounded 2. The Goleta postal shooting. Jennifer San Marco, 44, a former postal worker, fatally shot a former neighbor in Goleta, California, then drove to the mail processing plant where she used to work on January 30, 2006. She opened fire inside, killing 6 employees before killing herself. The U.S. Postal Service said that San Marco worked for the Postal Service for 6 years, but was given early retirement in June 2003 because of psychological problems. Reports till now point to a domestic dispute where a girlfriend wanted to shoot her boyfriend, but I can't help think how the mainstream media will spin this one. They can't blame the white man, and since the woman is from California, they also can't blame gun background checks. Maybe they will say the woman caught her boyfriend cheating so he deserved it, or that the boyfriend would beat her on a daily basis. The spin possibilities are endless. More bombshells. Sarah Carter unlocks a secret, implicating chapter of the McCabe saga. There never seems to be a dull moment these days regarding the Trump administration. And today is no different. Sarah Carter revealed stunning blockbuster news with more evidence from the Paramore texts of Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. It is very likely that Virginia courts were pressured to hurry up the FISA warrant on American, Carter Page. Additionally, the texts revealed there was potential coordination before the warrant was issued by the Obama-era White House, CIA and FBI. What the new Strzok, Page texts reveal. The texts were previously released. After current leadership scoured through them, it has been revealed per Sarah Carter that FBI agents were potentially pressuring prosecutors and the courts to speed up the production of information related to issuing FISA warrants. Also, Sarah cites, the communications suggested that there was possible coordination by Obama White House officials, the CIA and the FBI into the investigation into President Donald Trump's campaign, as reported earlier. It has been revealed that in a text message between Peter and Lisa in September of 2016, that there was an argument between David Loffman and Peter. This text string shows there is now concern if the Virginia court was pressured to hurry up the FISA warrant to spy on Carter, who was briefly on the 2016 Trump campaign. Who is David Loffman? Well, for starters, David Loffman oversaw the Clinton email server probe at the Department of Justice. Also, Loffman oversaw the alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election. Per Sarah Carter. Loffman's official title was Chief of the DOJ's National Security Division's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section. As reported by Sarah, David suddenly left his position at the DOJ earlier this year, citing personal reasons for leaving his post, according to news reports. Oh. The tangled web seems to be getting larger. And Peter was caught in a text string showing he is upset that it was taking so long for him to get the application for the FISA warrant to go through. It certainly appears suspicious. It is very disturbing to think we had rogue FBI agents in our government who are willing to use their power to undermine an opposing candidate in a presidential election. How does McCabe fit into it? Well, it further proves and implicates McCabe. Sarah reported, McCabe may now be looking at possible charges for lying under oath to DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz, who is investigating the FBI's handling of its investigation into Clinton. McCabe's wife has been running around the MSM saying that the Trump administration is picking on her husband. What she fails to mention is that he is in bigger trouble now that he was in before. Sarah posed the unasked question when she wrote the following. Everything here, from the texts complaining about FISA delays to the exchanges indicating coordination, to the White House visitor logs, seems to match to a disturbing degree. At best, it's a strange coincidence worth investigating further, but it's likely much more, a congressional investigator told this reporter. Congress has to take this information seriously if we hope to restore Americans' trust in our federal justice system. Can your faith in the American justice system be restored? In ending, drop a comment below and let us know if you think faith can be restored in the American justice system.